Hi, everyone. This is Miss Macedonia. I wanted to get on to provide you some explicit direction to prepare for our Wednesday activity. So on this slide, this is the slide that we're going to look at in class. So in terms of looking specifically at this explicit instruction activity, you are going to be broken off into small groups. So depending on which activity that you've chosen to focus on, whether you've chosen to focus on algebra lesson on parentheses on page 41, or the model lesson determining the main idea on page 44, you will be paired either with one partner or two partners, and you guys are going to be focusing on actually conducting this full explicit instruction. However, I thought that it would be easier to be able to break these down into manageable parts. So part one would be the opening. So each one of you would take turns with practicing the opening. Part two would be the body of the lesson, and part three would be the closing. So two major roles within this activity. Number one is the teacher. So if I'm looking at page 41 and 42, so the opening starts on page 42. I'm not going to read what's bolded. So for example, gain students' attention. I'm not going to be reading that. That's just cueing me on, that is the step that I'm going to be focusing on. However, I am going to be reading the text and looking at what is in those brackets, which is going to tell me kind of an action of what I need to do. So for example, for this first one, gain students' attention, I'm going to pause after I give the directive. So something else that I want to note is that because you guys are going to be in breakout rooms, it might be difficult to switch on sharing of screens. So you don't have to write anything, but just continue to state what it is that you need to. The other role is the role of a student. So in each of these different examples, there is a student component where the teacher might call on a student or a student might volunteer. And so whatever is italicized is a student response. So in your small groups, I'm going to ask that those of you that are students are going to be actively engaged and actually participate by saying what's in italicized, okay? So I'm just going to give you an example about the opening of the lesson, looking specifically at algebra lesson on parentheses. So things that I want you to look for when you're providing constructive feedback to your partner is talking in a clear and concise manner. If you want, you can also think about eye contact. You want to think about how easy it is to follow what that person is telling you, etc. So keep those things in mind when your partner is sharing. And I'll also have a little guide that you can use during this process. But for the sake of this video, I just want to model exactly what you're going to be doing. So I'm going to be doing the lesson on page 41. So algebra lesson on parentheses, and I'm going to be doing the opening for you. Students, please put all your materials away except your math log, a pencil, and your math book. Look up here. Today, we're going to continue our work with variables and expressions. You are going to learn how parentheses are used in expressions. This knowledge is critical in solving algebraic equations. But first, let's do a little review. Ones, tell your partner what a variable is. Yes, a variable is a symbol that represents a number. Look at the expression 3 plus x and t minus 6. In this expression, what is a variable, everyone? Yes, X is a symbol that represents a number. Everyone, what is the variable in the second expression? Correct, it's Y. Look again at the definition of an expression. Check each of these items against the definition. On your paper, write the items that are expressions. Wow, you have really mastered these concepts. Let's learn more about expressions. So for that last bit, if you had actual students, you would actually prompt the student, Y is to an expression, Y is X an expression, etc. So that is an example of the opening from page 42.